I realise that it is not the biggest problem that Europe and the UK face now, whether or not we're all coming for 2 weeks over the summer. But are any of the issues on the continent affecting travel plans?
Not the fires. Definitely not the fires. We see such a pent-up demand for travel since people haven't been able to travel for the past 2 years that we're seeing the UK and Europe is continuing to grow at an extremely fast pace year on year. The only country, out of the destinations with fires, I think Greece has probably had the slower amount of growth. But, even in the past week, we're seeing the UK have a 14% increase. I think it's slowed down a little bit, mainly because of the baggage fiasco that they're having at Heathrow. But we're just seeing the stronger demand come into the regional airports of the UK. France, Germany, all experiencing triple-digit growth.
Let's talk about those regional airports. Are you seeing people deliberately shift their travel plans away from Heathrow?
Over the past week, I would say, yes, there is a stronger demand for going via some of the European hubs into the smaller European airports, smaller UK airports. But prior to that, actually, there is not enough aircraft at the moment for the demand. Prices are really high and seats are short. So, it is really people are just trying to get in any way they possibly can at the moment.
Right, so it might not be a conscious choice, I don't want to fly into X or Y. It might be more of a case of I'll fly in any way I can.
Correct. It's like people are, if you want to take that summer holiday, they're having to take some of these secondary airports because they're absolutely full, which is the reason why, a lot of the chaos as well is just the demand is so strong at the moment.
What effect is all of this having on prices, Dean? Can you pop some percentages, give us some idea of context?
Yeah, same amount of passengers into the destinations for the fires. We're talking about over $1 million extra for the same period and the same amount of tickets. So we're seeing some places have over a 70% increase in the cost of flights. So it's definitely costing people more. People are actually having to plan and book ahead a lot further as well. We're seeing a lead time increase by 34%. So people are having to plan ahead a little bit longer.
Let me just jump in there. That's really interesting because one of the things that we were hearing from travel agents during COVID was that we were seeing the opposite. We were seeing people book a lot closer to the time they were actually planning to depart, a bit more of a wait and see as people waited to see what happened to, COVID numbers and border regulations, PCR regulations, etc. Is that longer lead time in comparison to the lead times we saw in COVID or in comparison to normal times, if you like?
This would be in comparison to pre-COVID. So I took the pre-COVID data and now, and people are actually planning ahead a lot further. I think we were in unprecedented times during COVID, and yes, people were traveling extremely late, and that was because they didn't know what the situation was like. Now people are actually taking that time, to plan a little bit ahead of time. They're really wanting to go somewhere. They're trying some new places as well. There's some really outstanding sort of new places that have come in this year as well. In particular, places like the Czech Republic and Azerbaijan is the standout for Europe. Actually, border of Europe and Asia, it's got over 500% growth during the same form pre-COVID. It's definitely the fastest growing from the region.
Okay, I'm presuming that 500 is coming from a fairly low base, but why do you think Azerbaijan? Oh, really?
Yeah, actually, Baku, is actually Azerbaijan for Baku is really standing out. They've got high volumes as well as actually strong demand as well.
What are you
It was very surprising.
What do you put that down to, Dean?
Um, it's actually an extremely cheap destination, one of the cheapest destinations, actually to go to. It's a very safe, it's very modern. And, actually we've seen growth over the last couple of years towards the Eastern Europe, Central sort of Asia areas. We saw this happen with Georgia a couple of years ago and the growth that Georgia experienced. And it's a continuation of that. I think there's some other countries around that region which are definitely the ones to watch coming up in the next year or so.
Dean, we've only got about a minute left with you. What about insurance? Given the baggage issues that we're seeing in a lot of airports, are we seeing an uptick in people insuring themselves against delays or lost bags?
No. Actually, I looked at that. There's no real difference, between for Europe in particular, the amount, it's higher than it is for from the Middle East. So if you're traveling within the Middle East, the likelihood of taking insurance or it's a lot higher for Europe. It's about 5 to 10% higher, and again 5% to 10% higher worldwide. But there is no real clear indication that people are actually adding insurance or taking insurance because of those reasons.
Well, thanks very much for joining us this morning. Dean Wicks is the Chief Flights Officer at WeGo, but was also kind enough last night to pull that insurance information for me, talking to us about whether or not some of the headlines coming out of Europe and the UK when it comes to the heat, when it comes to fires, as well as what we are seeing at a number of airports is causing people to change travel plans or think a little bit more carefully about where they're going. Let us know, by the way, how it is impacting you, what decisions you've made on the back of these events. 4001, or use the Messenger app if you'd like to get in touch with us this morning.